Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte, and we continue our season preview series today as we head up to Newark, New Jersey. The New Jersey Devils are next on our list. So the Devils have had a pretty good summer, but you know what? It's kind of getting old. It seems like every year they've had a good offseason, and they're the team that builds up so much hype during the summer. They win free agency, they win the draft, but they don't win on the ice. And I think that Devils fans are sick of it. This is another season of so much promise and so much hope that maybe they could get in the playoffs. But then you look again at that division, and it's kind of difficult for them to move up. This is a division that maybe isn't the best division like it was last year, but I do think that the Metropolitan Division is going to be tough. And I just don't know if New Jersey is there. So let's take a look at their team. So you look at some of their additions this year. Their biggest addition this summer, in terms of free agency, was Andre Palat. And it wasn't the name that you were hoping, and we're not going to talk about him today. But Andre Palat comes in, a really good piece to this team. Don't love the contract. We've already talked about that, though. But I think Palat will add some scoring to this team. And he's a guy that can score the big goals in the big moments. And that's what you get for Palat. He is on a little bit of the older side, so you really want him to do well over the next, really the next 2-3 years to make that contract worthwhile. But I think Andre Palat, great addition there. Erik Haula comes in via trade right before the NHL draft, and Pavel Zacha went up to Boston. So now that we see Erik Haula coming down from Beantown, I think this is a really nice addition for the Devils. I think they've been lacking that veteran leadership down the middle. Obviously, when they traded Travis Zajac to the New York Islanders a couple years ago, I think that was a really tough loss for them because they just, nothing against some of those younger guys, but Michael McLeod, Jesper Boqvist, Nathan Bastian, they're not the best centers yet, and they still have to develop on the wing a little bit. And that's where a guy like Haula can win you big faceoffs. He's a guy that can penalty kill. He's a good penalty killer. I think that's a great addition there. And that was really it for up front. A lot of moves on the back end, I expect, and we'll get to that. Simon Nemec, who was the second overall pick of the New Jersey Devils, a really nice pick there. They get another really solid right shot defenseman. Can't really say anything wrong with that. You also add Luke Hughes, who I think has an outside chance of making the roster. It's getting a little bit tight there in Jersey. I mean, you look at their top six defense right now. Dougie Hamilton, John Marino, Simon Nemec, Ryan Graves, Jonas Siegenthaler, Brendan Smith, Simon Nemec, and Luke Hughes. So there's a lot of bodies already there in New Jersey. So I just don't know if Luke Hughes gets to the NHL next season. Again, maybe as a call-up during the season, but that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Obviously, this one kind of pulls on the heartstrings as Vitek Vanacek, former goaltender of the Hershey Bears, heads to New Jersey. I'm so excited for him. This is a really good opportunity. He just wasn't really getting it in Washington. I just don't think their system works that well in New Jersey. That is something I worry about in Washington. That's something I worry about here in Jersey as well. But Vitek Vanacek is going to have his shot. He's going to be in the spotlight, and he's going to have the opportunity to become a starter. And the New Jersey Devils paid him for that. 3 years at pretty good money. So I think Vitek Vanacek comes in, and is probably going to do a 50-50 split, depending on how healthy Blackwood is. This is really the bridge deal till Nico Dawes, who is really the Devils, I hate even saying this, the goalie of the future tag. Until he's ready and developed, Vitek Vanacek can be a really good complementary piece along the way. And then when you look at the Devils, goals for and goals against last season, did they get better with some of these moves? Goals for, 19th in the league, not terrible. Could have been better, but not terrible. And then their goals against was really their Achilles heel. 29th in the National Hockey League for goals against. They struggled to keep the puck out of the net. And a lot of that was because of the goaltending. Nico Dawes is very young still in his early 20s. Mackenzie Blackwood can't stay healthy. Jonathan Bernier can't stay healthy either. The Devils just haven't had, I guess you could say, a lot of luck in between the pipes. But the blue line looks solid. They moved out some guys. I mean, Ty Smith, no longer here. Madison Bowie, no longer here. So they've gotten rid of some guys that have been kind of around, and they're no longer there. So I think the Devils, overall, I do think the Devils are a better team, but I don't have them making the playoffs. I don't have it in my heart to say it because, let's just think, looking at the division, right? And I hate to do this, but Carolina and the Rangers, I think, are the top two teams next year. Or at the very least, I'm pretty confident that they're a lock. Everybody else from 3 to 6 or 7 is very much up for debate. Pittsburgh and Washington, kind of in a category of their own. They're getting old. They're kind of on the twilight of their successful years. Where do both those teams stand? The Islanders, kind of in a category of their own because they were so good the last 2 and 3 years ago, but last season were awful. So are they the team that we saw, 3 years ago, or are they the team we saw last season? We're going to figure that out pretty quickly. And the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets kind of are in their own category with the Islanders, I guess. But I think that Columbus is, because they got Goudreau, because they got good Branson, I know that's kind of funny, I think they're a better team. And they were just off the cusp of making the playoffs last year. So where does New Jersey sit? They had 63 points last season. And the only team worse than them was the Flyers, who, come on, let's not kid ourselves. Everybody's making fun of the Flyers right now. They are the worst team in the division. But I just don't know where New Jersey sits. And I hate to say it, I don't want to wish a firing on anybody, but I just don't think Lindy Ruff has really worked in New Jersey. And I know that he's had a really good relationship with Hughes and some of the younger guys. And that definitely accounts for something. And that's definitely something there. But the performance on the ice now, it'll be 3 years now that the Devils have struggled. And I worry that when you look at the standings in November and December, the Devils are going to say, it might be time for a coaching change. And that is something that I am thinking about. So let me know what you guys think down below. What do you think of the New Jersey Devils? Do you think they can take that next step and be a playoff team? Or do you think they will kind of fall back to where they've been the last couple of years? The hype during the season, during the offseason, in the summer when it's sunny and hot out. And then come fall, the Devils kind of self-implode and very quickly. Because I think the Devils' goal this season is to, they said this last year, and all my Devils fans have kind of had the same sentiment. You guys always say this. You want the Devils to be playing meaningful games in February and March and into April, right? That's really what you want. And I just don't think they're able to do that with this roster. And I don't know if the team's too soft or the team's just not mature enough. I'm trying to think of a way to put it, but I just don't think what they have there is good enough. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.